Welcome to Trail Shoes Reviewed. These are our top 3 HOKA trail shoes, whether you want to use them for road to trail running, you want to use them as hiking shoes, or for ultramarathon running. We're going to break down the features of each so you have a better idea of which one will work best for you. So first of all, we're going to look at the outsoles on these shoes. So in the HOKA Speedgoat 6, we've got the Vibram Megagrip outsole. That makes it really grippy on wet rock, on slippy terrain, on technical terrain, and it has 5mm multi-directional lugs, which gives it really good grip regardless of what you feel underneath your feet. So this is an excellent shoe if you want to use it on really technical downhill terrain, whether that's changing direction in wet mud or on wet rocks. So an excellent option. Now the one downside to having the Vibram Megagrip that we found is if you run on asphalt or on tarmac, that it wears them pretty quickly, but when you're on the trails you're pretty safe underfoot with this. In contrast to that, we've got the Challenger 7, which doesn't have the Vibram Megagrip undersole. It has 4mm lugs, which makes it a little bit more comfortable if you want to use it on lighter trails or on the road, just because of the reduction in lug depth. The lugs are slightly broader as well, which means they just don't give as much grip, but they're a little bit more comfortable on harder surfaces. Then in the Stinson 7, we've got even shorter lugs with 3mm lugs, and we don't have the Vibram Megagrip either. We have multi-directional lugs, so this is a better option if you want to use it from road to trail or for light to moderate trails. And then when we look higher up into the midsole, you can see that it's super chunky in the Stinson 7. So we got 45mm in the rear foot, 40 in the forefoot. So it's really built for comfort, built for spending long periods of time on your feet. But one of the downsides to that is one of the heaviest shoes of the HOKA offer, coming in around 360 grams for a size 9 men's US. We've got a much smaller stack in the HOKA Challenger 7 with 31mm in the rear foot, 26 in the forefoot, giving you a 5mm drop. So that's nearly 14mm less cushioning underfoot. However, the type of cushioning is different, so it's much softer, much more compliant than what we got in the Speedgoat 6, and we'll touch on that in a moment. But this is a shoe that is a bit of a do-it-all. It's a much lighter shoe than what we see in the Stinson 7, coming in around 250 grams. So that makes it a really versatile shoe if you want to use it from road to trail. It has long enough lugs that it can do some moderate technical terrain, some muddy runs, but it can also transition nicely onto the road. It's got ample padding, it's nice and soft underfoot, and an excellent option overall. Then when we're looking at the Speedgoat 6, as we talked about, we've got the Vibram Megagrip. We've got 40mm in the rear foot, 35 in the forefoot, giving you a 5mm drop. So it sits somewhere in the middle, but the cushioning is much firmer than the other two shoes. So it's still got the EVA cushioning, but you don't sink into it as much. It's a bit more responsive, and it's built for more technical terrain. That's also got to do with how it's styled on the upper, which we'll talk about in a moment. But overall, it sits in the middle in terms of stack height of all three, and it also sits in the middle in terms of weight, coming in around 277 grams for size 9 men's US. On top, we've got some overlay around the toe box, which gives you some protection, but it's not firm and it hasn't got any rigidity to it, so if you kick a rock or a branch, it's not going to give you any protection. In line with that, it doesn't have a rock plate built into it, so it doesn't get as much protection underfoot, but really there's ample padding underneath to protect your foot overall, making it a really stiff shoe, so very difficult to bend despite not having a carbon plate or a rock plate built in for protection. Now, it does have a very narrow fit in the toe box, so those of you with a broader foot may struggle with the width on this. It's tapered nicely, which means that it can fit nicely in technical terrains. It's quite a neat shoe, so it can move in and out, change direction quite well. In contrast to that, with the Stinson 7, we've got the widest of all the HOKA trail shoes, and it fits more in line with the Gaviota 5 in the running line of the HOKA shoes. So it's really broad in the toe box, and you can see it's got a lot more space in there than what we have in the Speedgoat 6. So it's all about comfort, fit, allowing your toes to splay. It's also really stiff because of the amount of padding you have underneath your feet. Again, no rock plate in this, so it's got ample padding, loads of space for your toes, and it's all about comfort. And that's why it sacrifices the weight, just so you can spend long periods of time on your feet in this shoe. Now, in addition to that, it's got a built-in H-frame, which is something that we see in the HOKA Gaviota 5. So that's a H-frame that adds extra elements of stability. So in between the midsole and where your foot sits, we've got a frame that provides stability on both sides of the shoe and running through the middle. So that's denser foam that keeps your foot centered in the shoe, helping to control those pronation forces and working as a guidance system for your foot. So this is a stability feature that helps to compensate for the softness and the volume of cushioning that you have. So if you're looking for more of a stability version in the HOKA line, look at the Stinson 7. Then in this Challenger 7, we've got a little bit of tapering in the toe box, a little bit more space than we have in the Speedgoat, but not as much as we see in the Stinson 7 in the toe box. All three are true to size and length, and they've got plenty of padding in the toe box in the Challenger 7, where it's very thin on the Speedgoat 6, and plenty of padding on the Stinson 7 as well. Around the rear, we've got plenty of padding on all three, and we've got stiff heel counters on all three to provide elements of stability. So overall, we've got the HOKA Stinson 7, which has got loads of foam underneath your foot. It's got a H-frame for added elements of stability, and it's got a wide toe box, focused completely on comfort, a little bit heavy and a little bit clunky of a shoe if you're looking to use it on more technical terrain, which we wouldn't advise. But it is an excellent option if you want to use it on the road or on light terrain. The Challenger 7 sits in between the other two shoes, so it's very versatile, super lightweight. It can transition from the road onto light to moderate technical terrain, and it's a super comfortable shoe. Then we've got the Speedgoat 6. It's built for responsiveness, technical terrain. It's got those long lugs that can tolerate deep mud and wet rocks. So it's an excellent option if you're looking for ultra distance running, if you're looking for comfort underneath your foot and you want to run on technical terrain. If you've got any questions on all three shoes, please drop them in the comment section below. We've got links to the shoes for Amazon down below if you want to check out the latest prices in the description. Otherwise, like and share and subscribe, and makes a massive difference to the channel. Thank you very much for watching.